If you've been paying close attention to what Donald Trump has been saying about the chair of the Federal Reserve, this gets crazier and crazier.
Oh, if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
And now Senator Warren, aka Crypto Karen, is warning everybody that firing Jerome Powell would crash the markets.
But I really want to make a pitch here for a second about the importance of Powell staying in his job. Look,
and it's unusual coming from you. You're very critical of him.
I have tangled with him on a regular basis about both regulations and interest rates. But understand this, if Chairman Powell can be fired by the President of the United States, it will crash the markets in the United States. The infrastructure that keeps this stock market strong and therefore a big part of our economy strong and therefore a big part of the world economy strong is the idea that the big pieces move independent of the politics, that somebody is making his, their, her best decisions economically and independently. We understand that if the New York Stock Exchange, if interest rates in the United States are subject to a president who just wants to wave his magic wand, this doesn't distinguish us then from any other two-bit dictatorship around the world where everyone knows what your big investment risk is. Will that dictator wake up in the morning and have a tummy ache and decide to cause this problem or favor that friend? That's why we need to strengthen the infrastructure.
But I know you are not the president, but you have also been very vocal in terms of wanting Fed Chair Powell to cut interest rates.
Sure.
Especially when he was raising it. And you and I have talked about, like, maybe you shouldn't inject your politics into the Fed. That's essentially all he's doing here.
Oh, that's the question. When he talks about terminating Powell, come on.
No, he said his termination cannot come soon enough. His term ends next year.
You think he was saying term in? Look, I hope he was saying term in. I think what he's doing is testing the waters. Does he think he can get away with firing Powell and all of you won't raise any hell about that? He's checking that out. And I'm just saying, for the strength of our country, I hope all of you are pushing back at this point.
So the main point here is putting the person in the position that can do the job correctly, because Jerome Powell, bottom line, has been slow in lowering interest rates. And if he waits too long, it could lead to a massive crash. So with Warren arguing that firing Jerome Powell would crash the markets, there is actually a much bigger problem on the horizon that will crash the markets that we need to be ready for. So in this video, we're going to get into the Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart compared to XRP to the US dollar. One of the top narratives in crypto that is absolutely exploding right now and how you can be able to benefit from it, whether you're a trader or you're just getting started in crypto. The reason why this time is not different and this cycle is playing out very similar to how every single cycle has played out in the past, the total amount of banks and companies that are using Ripple, and guys, this list will shock you, and what's about to happen in October that directly involves Ripple, Swift, and the European Central Bank that is going to send the crypto market in a frenzy. So I'm sick and tired of all of the BS that's being spread out there, all of the lies, the misinformation from the politicians. So in this video, we're going to talk about the truth and get into the facts of what's actually taking place. So that way you guys can get a better understanding of the most likely scenarios to happen next for your portfolio. So you can make the most amount of money possible, so you can protect your wealth, and so you can be able to gain the skills and the knowledge that it takes to become a part of the top 1%. Because if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, if you're not yet already, then like this video, comment 777 below. And if you're feeling bullish, if you're feeling blessed, let's run it. Most people that are interested in crypto trading don't have the time to manage their entries and stop losses, so they invest with emotion, and that's why they lose. So we have a powerful way for you to make money by directly copying our trades and other successful crypto traders. And copy trading is one of the easiest and most popular ways to make money in crypto. Copying other traders that had more experience than me is how I became a crypto millionaire before 30 when I was new to the industry, back in 2016, but I had to manually enter the trades myself, which was super stressful because I didn't understand how to properly set up stop losses or take profits back then. So I ended up missing great entry points or holding longer than I should have, losing out on potential profits. That's why leveraging a copy trading platform that does this for you is the best way to go. And how it works is the exchange will put in the orders for you when you copy another experienced trader. That way you don't have to manually follow the trade alerts or enter or exit trade positions sitting at a computer all day long. And it's very easy to get started with too. All you have to do is go to the link in the description below this video and create your free account, deposit any crypto asset that is listed on the platform, and then choose which trader you like to copy that has the best win rate. In full disclaimer, because we believe in transparency, we do earn a small commission for every trade that you make on the exchange, but that helps support videos like this to help you succeed. And you can also get exclusive access to our top altcoin picks and breaking crypto news updates as well inside of our Telegram group through the link below this video. So check that out. I know you're going to love it. Now, everybody wants to know what's about to happen next for Bitcoin and how will that affect XRP. So I'm going to dive into the price chart in a little bit and show you guys some confluence to the past and what we're going through on the chart. But first, you guys know who John Deaton is. He was a massive advocate in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. He's also the founder of Crypto Law US and Deaton Law Firm. And Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, made this post saying, agreed, Massachusetts residents should vote for John Deaton. Crypto holders in Massachusetts need to realize that Senator Warren is the one who got Gary Gensler his job. And she was anti-crypto and she was pro Gary Gensler's policies. And Elon Musk responds to this saying, yes. So it's very clear that this lady right here is not on our side. So when she's saying that firing Jerome Powell would create a crash in the market, in fact, it's the exact opposite of that. Keeping him in office is what will lead to inevitable crash if he does not act fast. Because in my video yesterday, we talked about what Trump said about the European Central Bank cutting interest rates for the 7th time. Yet Jerome Powell has been too late, and he's always too late. He's about to create a complete mess. But first, this happens. Looking at interest rates over in Europe dropping, we now have Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank, making a massive announcement for what's to come in October.
We have a cutoff date, which is October. So October 2025, my governing council has to decide whether we move forward or not. So that's an important date. My strong hope is that by then, the European Parliament has passed the legislation that will support the technological work, the policy work, the unified rule book that we are working on so that we can launch.
And one thing that's interesting that we covered a while ago on the channel is the Digital Euro Association is partnered with who? They're partnered with the Ripple guys. This was back in 2022 to jointly work on central banking digital currencies because of the technology that Ripple has to enable cross-border payments to make them seamless, fast, efficient, safe. And this is all going to happen around the same time that SWIFT is implementing the ISO 20022 standard globally by November. And so when we look at Ripple, when we look at SWIFT, Hyperledger, and other payment infrastructures, getting ready to deploy Ripple's technology globally, this is going to completely change banking forever, guys. The innovation that's happening right now is not just theory, it's an actual fact. In fact, look at the banks and companies that are using Ripple's technology right now. In regards to central banks, it's the Central Bank of England, Central Bank of Thailand, Indonesia, the Federal Reserve System, Monetary Authority of Singapore, Reserve Bank of India, Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. And there's several others that they haven't even announced that Brad Garlinghouse confirmed in an interview that they're keeping a secret right now. So virtually all the largest central banks in the world. So I don't even need to list off anymore, but just for the sake of people in the United States here, we have the Bank of America. They have several patents using Ripple's technology. JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the world. PNC Financial Services. We have major Canadian banks as well too, the Royal Bank of Canada. Tons of banks over in Australia, Singapore, India, Brazil, Germany. Swiss banks like Credit Suisse. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It is absolutely insane, guys. This is ridiculous. What Ripple is doing for banking is like what Amazon did to the e-commerce industry. It's like what Lyft and Uber did to the taxi cab industry. It's like what Netflix did to the video streaming industry. It's like what iTunes and Spotify did to record labels. This is just ridiculous at how many banks they're already partnered with right now. And we're just at the tip of the iceberg for crypto adoption. So that's why I'm extremely bullish on XRP. Now, regardless of those partnerships, there are some key things that need to take place first before XRP can break out that a lot of people don't understand. Because when we look at a price chart, like the Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart, and we're going to compare it to the XRP to the US dollar price chart, the past price action on the chart is simply a printout of emotional behavior of human beings here. And it all revolves around two emotions, and that's greed and that's fear. So over the past month, the crypto fear and greed index has been at 32, 25, 30, 33, which is basically fear because the price has been pulling back on the chart. So we've been in a downtrend, and we recently just broke above this descending resistance right here, but we're in murky waters because on the daily stochastic RSI, we can see that we're in overbought conditions right here at 92 and 90. So if we look back for confluence on the past, when we went through this long consolidation period of this downtrend getting rejected from this descending resistance, well, we can see right here on the 5th of August when Bitcoin wicked all the way down at $49,000, we saw a recovery rally up to $64,000 and then another drop down to about $52,000 for a higher low. And if you look at the stochastic RSI, what happened here? Well, the K line and the D line were down below 20 in extreme fear territory in oversold conditions, which was an excellent time to accumulate Bitcoin. So anytime the stochastic RSI on the daily is below 20 is an excellent time to accumulate. Now, that's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Go consult one. These videos are purely for education, informational purposes only, because you can still lose money if you buy when, let's say, Bitcoin or XRP is below 20 on the stochastic RSI, because just because it dips down here doesn't necessarily mean that the price can't go lower because of divergences that I've talked about in previous videos, but on the macro in the long term to accumulate. And so on that recovery rally, the stochastic RSI came all the way up here at 94 when Bitcoin came all the way up here to about $64,000. And then we saw a reversal back to the downside. Look at what happened to the stochastic RSI. It came all the way down here below 20. And so where we're at right now at 92 and 90 is we're in overbought conditions for Bitcoin on the daily. Now, it doesn't mean that we're just going to come down right away, because as you can see right here, after this breakout from $52,000, Bitcoin rallied to $60,000, and we saw a short-term pullback to about $57,000. Then Bitcoin continued all the way up here to about $66,000. So I'll zoom in here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Because from roughly the 11th of September, when the stochastic RSI and the daily for the K line and the D line passed above 80, it stayed up there until the 30th of September while Bitcoin climbed higher and higher. And it wasn't until the 30th of September when Bitcoin's price crashed from $65,000 down to $60,000, saw this little bounce right here to $64,000, then another drop down to $58,000. That was when the stochastic RSI reset all the way here below 20, saw that little pump off of the bullish cross. It was confirmed by passing above 20, and then it was a fake out for another dip before reversing back to the upside to go back above 80, and then the price reverses from $58,000 all the way upwards of $69,000. So this is what I can see coming over the next few weeks and few months in the market. This right here, and I'll draw it up and I'll just trace it on the chart for you guys based on the stochastic RSI from the 14th of September. Because if we look at the stochastic RSI right now with us breaching above 80, well, this is what that could look like. Now, obviously, it's not going to be exact as this because the future isn't identical to the past, because if it was, I mean, then we would have broken out after the 20th of February and just continued higher like we did in 2021. The main thing to understand here to know how to trade these markets correctly is looking at when we're overbought and when we're oversold on key indicators, and then basing your trading strategy on that and some other factors like global liquidity, what the Fed's doing with their balance sheet, etc., and then learning different things like moving averages, things like candlestick psychology, moving averages, EMAs, SMAs, understand the relative strength index, different oscillators, Bollinger Bands, etc. And you guys can learn all of this stuff right here, by the way, inside of Altcoin Pro University. We just dropped the Technical Analysis Essentials course. The link will be in the description below. So you guys can go through this, download the knowledge into your unconscious mind, apply it. That way you can become a pro trader. Because at some point, the stochastic RSI for Bitcoin will drop below 80 and will come back down below 20. The real question is, how long do we stay above 80? Because we can stay up here for an extended period of time, just like we did all the way back here from the 11th of September until the end of September. We can stay up here for the rest of the month while Bitcoin continues higher. It's definitely possible. But when the stochastic RSI drops, we are going to experience a pullback in Bitcoin's price chart. And that's when you strike if you're planning on longing the market. But to long the market right now is not a smart move, because we have not cleared a recent local high. Descending resistances just show you the trend, but for trend reversals, we want to see Bitcoin clear $89,000 to $90,000, which is a major resistance right here. So unless Bitcoin clears this horizontal resistance right here and holds it as support, it's going to be a strong zone that the bears are going to be selling into for the next pullback for Bitcoin. So I could expect Bitcoin to drop back down closer to $80,000 and the stochastic RSI to come back down below 20. That's when I would want to be accumulating more Bitcoin. So what does that mean for XRP? Well, let's get into it. But first, the macro is actually looking extremely bullish. TechDev posted this and shows the global business cycle based on Bitcoin's price chart and how each cycle has been longer than the previous cycle, simply because there's more long-term holders that just refuse to sell. There's more transactions that are lost on the blockchain. Like if you're going to copy and paste and send some crypto to a wallet, sometimes you might make a mistake. I definitely have in the past. And over time, the amount of people that make mistakes, well, that crypto's lost forever. So it can't be sold. So over the long term, the support is just going to keep going up for Bitcoin and for certain cryptocurrencies because of lost funds, because of the narrative of long-term believers that just won't sell because they know the value of the dollar is going down. So that, along with some other key factors, are extending each bear market to current phase in the cycle where we're at in confluence to the global business cycle right here that you guys can see at the bottom. So we're right at this ascending support right here. And each time that we've been here in the past, we've seen Bitcoin break out to the upside. Some cycles were more rapid than the others. Like 2021 was based on low interest rates, the Fed adding to their balance sheet. It was the perfect storm of opportunity. Whereas we're more comparable to 2017 on how drawn out that bull run was. And so that brings me to the XRP to the US dollar price chart, because as you guys can see right here in the lower right-hand side of the screen, well, XRP on the stochastic RSI on the daily is at 82 and 79 for the K line and the D line. We just experienced a bearish cross on the 14th of April. And so it's not looking too good for XRP in the short term. You know, XRP could just consolidate below this descending resistance. And if Bitcoin pulls back to $80,000, you best believe XRP is most likely going to pull back again to roughly $1.78 before seeing a bounce. So the momentum is in favor of the bears right now for XRP. I know that's not what a lot of you want to hear, but I love to hear that because that's an opportunity to get a better entry point, because I do not buy when I see something all the way up here in overbought conditions on the daily, the weekly, even the monthly. And so on the daily, we're in overbought, but on the weekly, we're oversold. We're at 5 and 4. So it's great on a macro perspective, which further concretes this post right here from TechDev talking about the global business cycle on how this is excellent if you're a long-term holder. But if you're a day trader and you plan on longing the markets right now, that is just a foolish move, because I think we're going lower in the short term. Unless Bitcoin pushes higher. If Bitcoin just breaks out and starts pushing higher, then yeah, we'll stay above 80 for an extended period of time for XRP and for Bitcoin as well too, just like I mentioned. But I will put it this way. There has never been a time in history ever. We're 100 for 100% shooting ratio here. Like if you had a basketball player like Steph Curry and he shot 100%, you would want him on your team every single time. So 100% of the time that XRP on the daily has gone above 80 on the stochastic RSI, it has always came back down below 80, and it has always dropped below 20 again. And this is going to happen again. And it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again forever. So when you understand this, you know how to trade these markets. Now, the main thing to understand is that nobody knows. I don't know. The best traders in the world do not know how long XRP is going to stay above 80 on the stochastic RSI before it happens, or if it's going to be a quick bearish cross, or if it's going to be slow drawn out. Nobody knows, but what we do is we base our trading decisions based on overbought or oversold conditions, and then we look for confluence on different indicators. Now, I don't have the time to dive into every single indicator on this video. Otherwise, it'd be a 10-hour video. That's why you want to join Altcoin Pro University and go through the Technical Analysis Essentials course. That way, you guys can be able to properly educate yourself through 28 in-depth videos here. Paul's done an incredible job on this. I've learned so much from this guy in terms of trading that has absolutely transformed my portfolio. I've known him for over 10 years, guys. And when I got started in crypto, he was teaching me how to trade these markets. So definitely check that out. I know you're going to love it. Guys, if you don't love it, if you don't get value out of this, then ask for a refund within your first 14 days. We'll give you your $97 back, and you'll walk away a better trader. I can promise you that. But there's no risk because of that 14-day money back guarantee. So when Bitcoin experiences a pullback right here on the stochastic RSI, XRP will most likely experience a pullback. And when we strike is when XRP is below 20 on the daily stochastic RSI. Because eventually this descending resistance will flip. And, you know, I think it'll be very volatile to get out of here. You know, we'll do stuff like this before we see a massive move in the market for XRP. And when this breakout happens, You do not want to get caught buying this because it will be a fake out before another drop in the market and then a continuation to the upside. If Jerome Powell acts and starts adding to the balance sheet and starts making major announcements that shifts the sentiment in the market from these scary tariff things that Trump is doing to these other countries that people are like, oh no, we're very primitive brained, right? Where all of a sudden people start panicking because they're like, I don't know what's going to happen. But yet, what do tariffs have to do with coins? They're completely different things. People are irrational creatures. We're emotional creatures. And so when stuff like that takes place, it affects the markets. But when you can understand that when other people are fearful, that's the time to be greedy, then you can learn how to make a lot of money in the markets. So I do think we're going to get out of here. I do think this storm is going to pass. And I do think we're going to see another bounce for Bitcoin and a bounce for XRP. The real question is, how high will that bounce be before the bear market kicks in? Or did we experience the top in the 20th of January and just barely above $3? And are we going to see a continuation to the downside for a bear market after this next bounce? Well, we're going to be talking about that every single day so you guys can have a pulse on the market of what's coming next. Because regardless of whatever happens, whether XRP makes a new all-time high or not, we can make money shorting XRP on the way down. And if you guys want to do that, then click the link in the description below, get our free ebook, just click the button, put in your best email address so we know where to send it. And you can watch this video right here that we just revealed, become an affiliate of Altcoin Pro University if you want as well too, if you don't just want to be a customer. If you want to create passive income on the front end that you can be able to tuck into your favorite altcoins, be able to buy your favorite cryptocurrencies. For example, guys, there is a lot of green happening right now in the AI sector as expected because artificial intelligence is just exploding with these new updates from ChatGPT, from Grok. And so AI crypto is just going to be incredibly bullish. You know, like Tau's going to do well. Our team called Tau before it went to over a $5 billion market cap. And our team has made so many incredible calls that have made our members so much money that it completely pays for the $97 or the $970 per year. For example, our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny. And since then, it rallied to over $1, 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap or 16 cents back on February 18th of 2023. All the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th 2022 before the token was ever even launched, and since then Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th 2022 on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8, and since then Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree, if that's a goal of yours. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.